It's finally the holiday season! That means it's time to do some of my favorite Christmas traditions. Make cookies, hang ornaments on a tree, and best of all, review stupid animated movies. So last year, one of my friends reminded me of this thing called Albert, and I got traumatic flashbacks to when I saw a trailer for it on Nickelodeon. It was this weird Christmas TV movie about a Christmas tree that was quickly forgotten about. But being the idiot that I am, I knew I had to watch it as soon as I was reminded of it. Sadly though, last December, I was too busy reviewing The Croods: A New Age, so I didn't have any free time on my hands until December 26th, meaning I couldn't watch the movie anymore. I had to wait months for the next holiday season to roll around.
It's been a year of waiting.
And it finally did, and I finally watched the cinematic masterpiece known as Albert! I've been hyping this review up for a long while, so you're probably wondering, how was the movie? It was, definitely, okay, my first big problem with this movie is the title. Albert. Nickelodeon seriously couldn't come up with any good Christmas tree jokes for the title, so they just settled on Albert. Wow, so creative. You just wouldn't believe how stupid Nickelodeon is. Or should I say, you wouldn't believe. Oh! So like I said, this movie's about a Christmas tree, except he's small. He and his other plant friends live in this greenhouse, and I already have 10,000 questions. All the plants in this movie are alive, and I've been trying to figure out how that works for a decade now. I mean, this isn't the weirdest concept ever. There have been animated movies with weirder concepts, but with a movie like Toy Story, the concept is well thought out, and you understand how the world works. Toys are alive, and then they become inanimate whenever humans are in the room. I mean, sure, not all of it makes sense, like this part with the hockey puck in the first film, but at least it's not distracting. But the problem is that, surprisingly, I found out Albert was not made by Pixar, so the people who made this clearly didn't put as much effort into it. Except the geniuses who thought of Cactus Pete, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, so the plants come alive or something and they start fooling around.
That's just glued on.
You can't glue on a flower.
You can glue everything. Look, I glued eyes to my butt.
What? How? You're a cactus, you don't have hands. Wait a minute. You're a cactus! You don't have a butt either! Then shenanigans happen, blah blah blah. But then somebody says the sacred word and they summon the devil.
Christmas!
Don't say.
Did somebody say
Christmas? Can we talk about these character designs for a second? Albert's mouth is literally just a split through his stem. That's, weird. And if he was any bigger, he would probably look like a Muppet. Like the legend known as Cactus Pete, why couldn't they have given Albert a mouth like that? After like 30 seconds, you begin to question the design of these background characters as well. Also, it turns out Albert is a musical movie. If you count having 2 songs in your movie as a musical, then yeah, sure it is.
Rip the trees, let's start with me. For the Christmassy Christmas.
Better look out, Mariah Carey, you've got some stiff competition this year.
And turn off the silent nights!
Okay, yeah, they sing, oh, a weed is born, someone turns on the TV, yeah. Okay, that joke is actually pretty funny. But then someone changes his channel to, what are these freaking human designs? Did they copy-paste them from a Norm of the North movie? This one is gonna eat me, I can feel it. I take back every complaint I said about Albert's design. Anyway, so this conveniently timed news broadcast gives Albert the motivation to become the Empire City Christmas tree. And I have a few questions about that. First of all, why would you name the city Empire City? So anyway, Albert sets off on his adventure, and he brings along Maisie, a palm tree, and this weed. While Maisie does some things, the weed does nothing for the plot. Pretty much the only thing he does is just say my reactions to the movie out loud.
talking snow?
Whoa. The outside is a strange and mysterious place.
Ugh. Someone's underneath.
Kind of ironic that his name is Gene. So they're off on their grand adventure and Albert talks to some plants or something.
Sometimes we all feel small, but that's okay. As long as it doesn't stop you from doing big things.
Subtlety, am I right? The film seems like it's just gonna be a boring road trip plot to get to Empire City, but then something unexpected happens, and we meet a true legend.
Oh, sweet relief.
I got snow in places no cactus should have snow!
This is Cactus Pete, and no, I don't mind his stupid name because he is an epic character.
Come on down to Cactus Pete's and we'll show you a
Is this kind of the
prickly
second
good
musical
time.
number? Cactus Pete is an awesome villain who has sworn revenge on all Christmas trees because he got thrown out and replaced by one. Not to mention he's voiced by... In all seriousness though, he's a pretty good character, and the voice actor does a really good job. His backstory and motivation to destroy Christmas aren't amazing or anything, but they're crazy enough to the point where they become funny. We get this action scene where Pete and the other cactuses try to kill Albert, and it's really epic and awesome. But sadly, Cactus Pete is surprisingly not strong enough to win, and he gets hit by a dumpster. But the trees lose their ride, then they get on a truck or something, blah blah blah. We get another musical number, and it's...
The best thing that can happen to Christmas is me.
decent. This is getting boring. They should have just made the movie about Cactus Pete. But I guess even the people making this movie were bored because after only 2 minutes of him having no screen time, they bring back Cactus Pete. Hooray!
Sing those carols and
Earlier in this video, I wanted to make an obvious joke when this plant thing points at a map that is made out of paper. You know, paper that is made out of trees. But I guess the writers must have thought of that joke as well, because then Pete and the trees go to a paper mill and they get shredded to pieces. Well, Pete is actually the only one who gets shredded, but thankfully he lives because later the movie confirms that he is immortal.
How did Pete survive the mill?
He's unstoppable.
Anyway, the trees escape and they get chased by bunnies or something, yay. But then they finally make it to their destination where the goblins are here to choose a Christmas tree. Albert sets up, eager for the humans to pick him, and they choose another tree in the span of 2 seconds. Also, if you're one of the trees in this forest, wouldn't being chosen as a Christmas tree for a city be a bad thing? Like, the humans would chop you down, therefore disconnecting you from the roots, and then you would probably die. But apparently not, I guess. Whatever you say, movie. The movie's getting too boring again, so thankfully Cactus Pete's back. Yay! This time he has an epic plan to destroy the Christmas tree in front of the whole world. Oh boy. So Albert and his friends hop on the bottom of a helicopter and somehow do not fall off. Is this how gravity works in this universe? Someone please explain. Anyway, some shenanigans happen with Gene and we get this top tier joke.
How can you grow in a crack?
Hey, babe, it's just a crack, but it's my crack, alright?
It's a crack.
They go to Empire City Square or whatever it's called, blah blah blah. There's an epic showdown between Albert and Cactus Pete where they both lose, but then Cactus Pete does something and chops the head of the tree off. How does that work? I don't know. Long story short, Albert gets put on top of the tree and yay, I guess. How he's able to hold this giant star on top of him is beyond me because not even average sized Christmas trees can do that. So the movie is just about to end, but then the writers realize that nobody cares about Albert or any of the other protagonists. All they care about is Cactus Pete. So Albert switches places with him and he gets to be on top of the tree. Hooray! So Albert, Maisie, and Jean go home, having learned the true meaning of Christmas. It's not about the presents. It's not about the tree. It's all about... So yeah, they go home, the end. Huh. You know, that actually wasn't abysmal. It definitely wasn't great. Far from it. But I've definitely seen worse movies than this, and I didn't hate myself for watching it. The plot is not well written, but thankfully by the time the movie starts to get excruciatingly boring, it ends. None of the characters are great outside of the legendary Cactus Pete, but thankfully none of them are annoying or hateable. I actually laughed at like 4 jokes in this, which, I mean, yeah, that equals 1 good joke every 11 minutes, but higher than I expected. Yeah, this movie is just sort of safe and bland. I wouldn't necessarily recommend the parts that don't have Cactus Pete in them, but this isn't the worst movie ever or anything. So yeah, pretty bad movie, stan Cactus Pete. I'm going to give Albert a 3.5 out of 10. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed, comment down below, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.